Welcome back, Tigers! In this video, we will review our recommendations for setting up campaigns in Salesforce. Campaigns can be used to track a variety of sales and marketing initiatives like emails, trade shows, events, and sales support activities. They allow us to track the impact of an initiative throughout the entire sales lifecycle from lead to opportunity. We will cover how to standardize your processes for campaign tracking so that you will be able to create impactful reports and dashboards, allowing you to easily compare your campaign metrics. Let's hop over to Salesforce and learn how to configure the setup for the campaign object in Salesforce. We have primarily used campaigns in Salesforce to track emails. Now we want to extend our campaigns to be able to track trade shows and sales support activities. Now let's say that we're going to the 2023 InsureConnect event that's at the end of October, beginning of November in Las Vegas. And we want to use campaigns to track things like not only our invitation emails, but also whether or not we're going to be meeting with these people at the show. We also want to be able to have our sales reps call the attendee list and try to schedule meetings with these prospects and customers. So let's see how we can extend the campaign object to not only track emails, but also track all these other things that we want to do. We're going to go into the back of Salesforce and we're going to go to the campaign object. And here we see that we have one page layout, and this is the page layout that we've set up to be used for our emails. So if we click this, we can see that we have a whole bunch of email metrics on this campaign page. So I'm going to go ahead and label this email layout. And then we'll save that. And then I also want to make some of these fields required. I want to make my type required. I want to make my product required. Start and end date as well. This will make sure that these fields are always populated whenever somebody's adding a new campaign. I also want to have a really nice description on our campaigns, so I'm going to drag that up to the top here. And I'm going to also make that required. We'll do a quick save. And then I'm going to clone this layout. I'll do a save as. And I'll call this trade show layout. Now I'm going to remove all of the fields that pertain to our emails. So I'll remove these MC campaign fields, these email statistics fields, and all of these campaign metrics and everything will stay. I'll make this show as a section as well. All right, then we'll save this one. And then we're going to do a save as, and we'll call this sales layout. Save that. And then we'll do another save as, and we'll call this parent layout. Now on the parent layout, we have to change out these fields right here. So on the parent layout, we only want the fields that are for the hierarchy, and I'll explain what all that means when we can see it in action. So I'm actually going to remove all of these fields in this section, and I'm going to drag and drop all of these fields that have the word hierarchy onto the page. So what this is going to show is all of the numbers for all of the child campaigns for this campaign. All right, quick save there. We're also going to update the related lists on this page layout. We'll scroll down here and we're going to take off campaign members because we're not going to have any campaign members in our parent campaigns. We're going to take off MC campaigns. We can leave opportunities, activities. We will leave the campaign hierarchy, and then we will save that. Okay, so now our page layouts are all set up. Our next step is to create our record types for our campaign object. So we will close out our page layout editor and we will go to record types. We will create a new record type, and our first one is going to be email. We will choose which page layout we want to assign. In this case, it's already selected email layout for us, so we're all set there. We will click Save and New. Our next record type is going to be trade show. So I'm going to say use this record type for tracking events, conferences, and trade shows that we are attending. You can choose if you don't want some profiles to have access to this record type. Keep in mind that a profile does not need access to a record type in order to see the record, only to create the record. We'll select which page layout we want here. We'll click Save and New. Our next record type is sales. So use this record type for tracking sales support activities. We will select the sales layout and Save and New. Our next record type is going to be our parent record type. So we'll use this record type for parent campaigns only. We will select the parent page layout and we'll click Save. Now our next step is to update the type values for each of our record types. And there are a couple of type values that will also need to add. So if we look at the type drop down here, we can see that all of these types are available for our parent record type, and we don't want that. We actually want to add a type value of parent. So let me go here to our type field. And here's our values. So I will add parent, and then I will add that to our parent record type. I'll click Save. And then I also want to add a value of sales support to our sales record type. And then I want to add event to my trade show record type. Click Save. And then I'm going to reorder these so they're in alphabetical order. Okay, so that looks great. Our types are all set. Let's go to record types. And I'm going to go to my email record type, edit my type field, and then the only value I want in here is email. And then I'll make my default value email as well. Then I'm going to go to parent record type, edit the type, and then I only want parent showing here. And I want parent to be my default. Next is sales. I'm going to remove all these. I'm going to leave prospect, referral program, sales support, and telemarketing. I'm not going to choose a default for this one. Then we will go to trade show, edit the type here. I will keep event and trade show and conference. And then I can make the default trade show. Right, our types are all set up. The next thing we want to do is standardize our campaign member statuses for each campaign record type and/or type. So this will allow us to report on our campaign members by status in a consistent way. If you're using different statuses for different campaign records that are of the same record type and type, when you go to report on them, you're not going to be able to make sense and compare the data from one campaign to another. So one app that we've found is called Campaign Member Status Walloper. It's really cool. You can set it up in less than 5 minutes. We'll put a link to a video that we did on how to configure this app in the description below. So we'll go to this app and then we'll go to Campaign Member Statuses, the Campaign Member Status sets. And we have 2 status sets that are set up, one for trade show and one for email. So if we click in trade show here, we can see that we don't have a record type set. We only have a type chosen. So we're going to edit this and we're going to add in the trade show record type. And then we're also going to add in conference and event. So every time that you make a change to your campaign record type and or type, you need to make sure that you come to your campaign member status sets in this app and update them if you need to. All right, so trade show should be all set. We'll go to email. We need to put the record type in here. Add email here. And then we'll create a new one for sales. We'll choose sales as the record type and prospecting, referral program, telemarketing, sales support. Call this sales. And then we'll click into this and we will add our statuses. First one is need to call. The second one is left voicemail. Third one is scheduled meeting. This one's going to be considered responded. So we will explain what responded means in your campaign member statuses when it comes to how it's used in campaign influence. It'll be in an upcoming video. Right, so we've got bad phone number is our 4th one. And then we've got one more where they decline the meeting. We need a default status. Need to call is going to be our default. And then we can activate this. So now every campaign that we create with a sales record type and one of these types will automatically have these 5 statuses added. Now we're ready to create our campaign records and see how all these record types and types are going to work. So let's first create our parent campaign. So our parent campaign will be called "2023 InsureTech Connect Parent." You can make this active if you want your sales reps to use this campaign as a primary campaign source on their opportunities. If you don't understand what that means, we're not going to get into that into this video here today, but that's what that active checkbox will allow you to control. So we are going to say that this one is in progress, and our start date is going to be the dates of when we're working on this campaign. So we're going to have the sales team start calling out. Actually, they've been calling out for 2.5 weeks, and then we will say this is going to go through the end of the show or the event. This is where we can indicate what product this is for. What are we going to be selling at that show? So our products are computers, phones, and software. So if you need to change this to a multi-select pick list, I wouldn't do that. If you want to be able to say all products that you're trying to attempt to sell at this show, then I would make a drop down for that says all products there. And then in this description, we're going to indicate what this campaign is for. So this is the parent campaign for the InsureTech Connect event. So this should be the parent campaign for all the campaigns that are going to be created to support this event. Click save. And then we've got our parent campaign set up. Now let's set up our next campaign. This one is going to be for our attendee list. So we've gotten an attendee list that we want to import into Salesforce, and this campaign is going to hold all of those attendees. We are going to make the start dates and end dates the actual dates of the show. So it's the 31st through the 2nd. And then our description here, I'm actually going to include the link to the event. Makes it handy whenever you're looking for the show's event page. If you always house all of this detailed information in the description, the campaign record will be a really nice resource for you. So now we've got our InsureTech Connect attendee tracking. Now, one thing we forgot to do was link it to our parent. So that's how you link it to the parent. That's it. You update the parent campaign to be the parent. And then now we're going to create 2 sales campaigns. Because what we want to do in our scenario is we have 2 sales reps, Henry and Sally, and we want them to start calling our prospects and customers prior to this event, because we want to be able to meet with some of these people while we're out at the event. So they're going to do an outreach. We're hand selecting our specific prospects and customers that we want them to reach out to, and then we'll add them to their respective campaigns. And then we'll be able to track how many meetings, how many calls Henry and Sally did in support of this event. So we will click New here, and we will create a sales campaign. And this is going to be sales support. And then they're going to start, let's pretend they've already started calling, and then they're going to call all the way through till the 13th. And then our description here is this campaign is used to track which attendees have been called and which ones have meetings scheduled for the event. For Henry. We also need to make the parent campaign the InsureTech Connect parent. We'll say this is in progress, and we will save this. Now, one thing we haven't been checking is whether or not our campaign member statuses are being added correctly, and we can see here on this sales campaign they are. Now, you can also set the owner to be Henry if you wanted to. Then I'm going to clone this, and I'm just going to change the name on the end here to Sally. Now we're going to put in an example email. So you may have a marketing automation system that automatically creates campaigns for you, depending on which one you're using. So we'll just put one in as a placeholder so that you can see what it looks like. If you do have a marketing automation system that's automatically creating your emails, then you will need to manually update the parent campaign on these campaign records so that they're linked so that you'll be able to see them from the hierarchy. So we will say that we're sending this out tomorrow. And this is going to be the first email that the attendees get from us, letting them know that we're going to the event and that we want to meet with them. And forgot to update the parent account. So let's do that. Let's take out that squiggly. There we go. Okay, so now let's go to this parent, and we can see the hierarchy contains all of the campaigns that are in the hierarchy, and we can also go here and we can see the campaigns in our hierarchy from there as well. If you wanted to, you can change the columns that are showing in this view. You would do that right here, hierarchy columns. You would click New, and then you can choose which columns you want to show. And then if you came over here and refreshed, you'd see whatever you just configured there. Okay, so that's all set. So we've got all our campaigns set up. And then we can see that we need to add some fields here to our related list. I'd also like to maybe add a report chart over here on the side that shows my campaign members by status. I'd also like the page to open up at the details. So let's go into setup and let's configure a lightning record page for the campaign object. So we'll go over here and then we'll go to lightning record pages. We'll click new, choose record page. And then we're gonna do a left sidebar, right sidebar. Click done. All right, highlights panel, record detail, related list quick links. This is just my personal preference and what my users tend to like to see. They like to see as much as possible on the page. And that is it. We're going to do a report chart over here. We need to have an actual report set up that is going to show our campaign members by status. So we will need to first configure that report before we can add the report charts on the side here. So let's save this, activate it, and we'll assign it as the org default. There's no reason to get really complicated in your assignments in your lightning record pages. So I've seen a lot of other people think that they need to assign this to an app or assign it to an app record type and profile. If you want every single record type to use in every single profile, every user to look at the same lightning record page for an object, there's no reason for you to select an app default. You can just make it the entire org's default and keep things simple. If this layout is going to work for you on desktop and phone, you'll choose that. We'll just leave it at desktop for now and we'll click save. So now we should be able to look at our campaign page and we should see it open up just like this. So now we can see everything on the page. Next, we need to create a report for our report chart on our page to fill in this spot over here. So we'll go over to our reports tab. Go to new report, choose all here. We're going to use the standard report type called campaigns with campaign members. Now this report contains a ton of fields that we don't need, so we're going to go ahead and remove all those. I like to turn this off so that I can remove them faster. We want to group this report by status. We want to filter for all campaigns. And then we'll turn the preview back on and we will add a chart. And we want it to be our records grouped by member status. So this is actually exactly what we want. And then we want to make it show values so that we can see the counts right in the report. We're going to save and run this. And this is going to be campaign members by status. And then I'm going to select a special folder. So we have a folder called Reports for Buttons and Report Charts. And this folder is locked down so that nobody can edit it, only admins. And what this does is it helps make sure that you don't accidentally modify any reports that are being used in any of your buttons or are being used in your report charts on your record pages. It comes in pretty handy when you're trying to figure out which report to modify on your record pages when your users ask for updates. Okay, so we've got our report set up here. Now we're going to go over to our campaign page and we're going to drop report chart in the side here. And then we should see our campaign members by status. And then we're going to say filter by the campaign ID. So we only want to see the campaign members by status for the records that are in this campaign only. So I'll click save there. And then I'm going to go to a campaign page for one of my email campaigns. So I've got an email campaign here that's got 122 people. So let's look at that page. And then I should see my counts by status in this report chart here, which I do. Comes in really handy. And then you can continue to add additional reports if you wanted to. You can add more report charts. You can also hide your report charts. So let's say that you only wanted to show a certain report chart for a certain record type or type. You can use this set component visibility right here so that you only have to manage one Lightning record page, but you can hide the different report charts based on the campaign type. All right, so that's it. You've successfully configured your campaign object to support multiple record types and types to be able to support your trade show initiatives. That's it. That's a wrap. We hope this video has given you a solid foundation for your campaign tracking. Be sure to subscribe to Blue Tiger Academy so you don't miss out on the next video we are working on that describes how to use campaign influence. We will review the basics of campaign influence, what is primary campaign influence, and how to set up auto association rules that automatically attribute influence to your opportunities. Campaign influence will allow you to compare the effectiveness of your campaigns and see which ones are resulting in opportunities. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you would like to see a video on a different Salesforce topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.